Another Franken bit. We haven't quite discovered the name of it. It is supposed to be a combination double bridle setup that eliminates the need for a secondary head stall. And yes, it's on correctly. This is toward the front. It's some type of guard so you can't pull the bridle through the horse's mouth. Very abrupt shank, very, very high leverage on this bit. As you can see, the second you start to twitch the reins, you're going to get pull pressure and curb pressure. Now, the unique thing about it is this loop that your snaffle goes into. And the loop actually closes. The harder you pull on the snaffle, these go into the horse's jaw, creates extreme pressure. It also pinches the lip. So, as a double bridle, this thing's going to be horrendous. This is a crap bit anyhow. It's made with that pseudo chrome coating that with a lot of use it would just fall off. There are actually high-end jumpers that use this. There was a picture circulating the internet a while back of some guy that had the one with the cavalry shank on it using it. I cannot believe anybody would actually compete in this thing, but they do. So we're going to take a break and we're going to put it on Ned and show you how it reacts on the horse's skull. And then we're going to put it on Vader and probably discuss the crap out of him too. Okay, we're going to pause. This other Franken bit on the horse. As you can see in the mouth, your snaffle is going to hang below the cannons of the curb, which is unusual. Usually in a double bridle, your snaffle is above. This one, because it is supported by these two loops, is going to hang below. So anything that happens to the curb bit happens to the snaffle bit. Now, when the snaffle pulls back, as you can see, these wings right in there. And so that would be pressing against the jaw, creating severe pressure. Any directional pull, if you look, if I'm pulling to the left, look what it does with that wing. So even if you're riding the snaffle rein independently and think you're being nice and gentle to your horse, you're pulling that thing into the side of his face and his lips. If I pull the curb, it doesn't matter if I have pressure on the snaffle because it's poking that joint right there into the tongue. You can see how much flex the tongue does when I put pressure on it. So this is a lot of bit for a horse to have in his mouth. It's just ridiculous. It just undermines everything that a double bridle is supposed to accomplish for the snaffle working independently and not intruding upon the sides of the jaw to get that good flowing movement of the head to cause the nice breakover at the pull. This thing actually circumvents that. I expect any horse used with this is pretty much going to be jacking his head at all times. And you can see how stiff and abrupt that curb movement is there. So we're going to pause for a minute and go ahead and put this on a live horse just to get their expression of disgust as they wear it. And then we'll move on to another bit.
Go.
Franken bit part 3. We now have it on Vader, who's usually pretty quiet-mouthed until you put some horrendous thing in his face, and then he hates me. As you can see, the snaffle and curb are together in his mouth. He's not what I would call extremely happy. There you go. Maybe that will give you a look at it. The snaffle's hanging down. He is just working it terrible. So pulling on the snaffle reins brings a lot of lip stretch back. It hangs off those wings. You can see them coming into the side of the lip. So independently going to the right, well actually let me pull from the left. Going to the left, you can see this wing comes into the side of the face. And over on this side, the joint of the snaffle is actually moving clear over toward the outside of his lips because there's no stability. There's nothing holding this on except this wing. There's not a head stall to keep it stable. It's just going to walk all the way through his mouth. Now, you'll notice that this is set 2-finger curb, and this thing is still just poking forward because the way he's insisting on holding it with that snaffle underneath, it pops it up. So it's gone out of the line of the mouth, which is really bad for a curb shank. You really want that curb shank sitting in the line of the mouth or below it. So now if I pull this, watch the snaffle, it pushes the snaffle back too. It's got no choice. And even if the snaffle is picked up, it's still pushing it back. So the curb action gets, so he's essentially wearing two mouths doing curb action right now. They're both feeling the pressure. You can see he's not And this horse will rein. He'll work in a Boselle. He'll work in just about anything. And he's just very resistant to this. Really doesn't like it. On a turn, he's just not happy. It's just poking him everywhere. So I have no idea why somebody would feel this is necessary. I'm not even really sure what they think that it would accomplish, other than just making their horse so angry it would jump everything because it's so pissed off. So I don't recommend this bit. If anybody does discover the name of it, please message the page. I would really like to know. I've searched everywhere and I can't find any reference to it. So another bit for the Hall of Shame.